Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your moon trine to someone's Venus in Synastry. So this aspect is a really good one. It's one of those aspects that can smooth over a lot of difficulties, and the moon and Venus are the feminine parts of our personality and our inner world. And when they're in trine, so in a beautiful trine aspect, we tend to get along. And if we have other parts of our personality that are more jarring or feisty or difficult, when we have this trine, we can tend to subdue that, and a natural warmth and good vibes and flow happen at the same time as some of these other parts of our personality that are maybe more difficult. So it's really interesting how this one works, where it's like, yeah, you could have other things going on, tense squares and, Mars squares and stuff. But then when your moon is trine to someone's Venus, or your Venus is trine to someone's moon, you do get along, and you do just tend to have good feelings towards each other. Now, this trine isn't going to make up for like a horrible synastry or composite chart, right? It's not that powerful. So it's not necessarily powerful. It smooths things out, and all moon Venus aspects actually do that. But the trine is going to be probably the least felt, but the strongest at the same time, because it's just the most natural flow of energy. So the moon person can feel like the Venus person, the way that they love, the way that they charm them, because Venus has a lot to do with like our attractiveness and our charm, right? The way that the Venus person acts is very soothing to their emotions. The moon person can feel very safe and warm around the Venus person, and they can want to open up emotionally without much being said. It's not even, this isn't really an aspect of like talking, or it's not a sexual aspect at all either. It's not an aspect of wild sexual attraction or anything like that. It's an aspect of just warmth and feeling good and feeling comfortable with someone. In one of my favorite books, Planets in Synastry, he says it like that. Moon Venus aspects are like adding chocolate sauce or syrup to ice cream. It's not like, it doesn't really change things too much. It just makes it a little bit sweeter, and it's nice, right? So that is that's a pretty good way to describe it, although I feel like it could be even a bit more powerful than that. But yeah, it's just a sweet aspect to have. And the Venus person can feel like the moon person is actually like their type too, especially if the Venus is the man too, but even if it's the other way too. Like, the Venus person can feel like the moon person just, yeah, is really their type, or really like easy to get along with, or really nurturing. So the Venus person can feel like the moon person just takes care of them emotionally without even doing anything, without saying anything. Their presence is warm and comforting and soothing and nurturing. And so the moon is like more of the mothering role in this relationship, and Venus is more of like the socialite, or the smoothing or the smooching or whatever in this relationship. But they do bring out the best in each other. It's a more passive aspect. It's not like showing that we're going to be out in public doing things, or like it's not a super outgoing or active aspect like a Mars trine or something. But it does show that when we're together, when we're at home together, when we're sharing emotionally together, or sharing our heart, we feel safe and nurtured. And it's it's really funny how this aspect can happen, like where you can really not know someone very well, and you cannot even talk very much, but just feel very warm and comforted by their presence, and just like you don't have a lot of those nerves, you know, like, but maybe you do because of other aspects, you know, you got Uranus or Pluto, that can cause nervousness, right? But this aspect, it's like that gets pushed to the side and you just smile and you just beam and you're just comfortable. So it's a really nice one to have. It's probably kind of underrated, because it is like, it's not this wild, crazy, passionate thing or anything, or it's not even to do with talking like Mercury communication. It's more just emotional warmth and nurturing and enjoyment together. And you know, the moon and Venus in aspect, it can also show like indulgence. So with this aspect, it can show that we find pleasure in the same sort of things. So with moon, it can show our emotional needs, what makes us feel emotionally fulfilled. Venus can give that to moon, right? And so we kind of take pleasure in the same things. We can like to eat together. We, you know, because Venus can also show our tastes. We can like similar music. We can, you know, have just, yeah, similar pleasure, similar enjoyment in the day-to-day. So that can go a long way for long-term compatibility and daily compatibility, you know, living together. If this is not a romantic relationship, same thing. This can be a great aspect of friendship because it's all warm and fuzzy, and you naturally become good-natured when you have this trine, you know, and there could be other things going on in your own natal chart that maybe show that you aren't like that, but with this person, it does tend to bring out more of the people's good sides. Now, the only downside would be that with a trine like this, it's so pleasurable, it's so like easygoing that maybe we don't speak up when something's wrong because we just get along so good, whatever, we don't need to rock the boat, right? So that's what we can see even with a trine with moon and Venus, is just like, you know, maybe a passive energy, or, you know, pushing things under the rug or whatever, because it just, you know, why bother, right? Everything's just so pleasurable and emotionally soothing and warm. We don't need to talk about those things. So if you have this aspect, just make sure that you do talk about the things that are bothering you and the tensions that are shown by the rest of the chart, because not the whole chart isn't going to all be smooth, right? So that would be the only negative thing. The only other negative thing would perhaps be some indulgence, right? Because we do enjoy the same pleasures, right? So yeah, but other than that, it's a wonderful aspect. If you have this one in your synastry, I would count yourself very lucky and blessed, because it's a very favorable trine, and emotionally you will both open up like the flower. It's yeah, it's really nice. You're gonna like people who you have this aspect with. You just won't be able to help it. Unless the rest of the synastry is just awful. This is going to be an aspect you have with someone you like a lot. Not necessarily love, but you just like them. And if you do love them, then there's a lot of emotional warmth and closeness that can develop, and mutual pleasure and enjoyment of life. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this one. Was it like this? Was it not? And thanks for your requests, you guys. This video was requested also. Let me know in the comments more requests you have for me, and I'll add them to my list. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.